Well, it's Friday, March 8th. And we gonna do this. We're gonna do this week. Gonna be talking about obviously sports stuff, some NBA stuff a little bit, NCAA tournaments coming. But it's International Women's Day. So I think I'm gonna give you guys some women who have impacted my life from the past and the present. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. So let's get it. All right, let's kind of quickly go through some. There's been some NFL rumblings here and there. Russell Wilson was released by the Broncos officially. He has the Steelers and the Giants both looking at him. But I personally think the Steelers would be the better pick for him and the Steelers, obviously. Um, but I could be biased just because I don't want him in the NFC East. But I don't think the Giants are done with Daniel Jones, even though I'm kind of iffy on him. That's personal opinion, but I think the Steelers will be a great fit for him. The Steelers did make the playoffs this year. People need to remember that they did make the playoffs. Um, they obviously could definitely use help at the quarterback position. No offense to who was Rudolph was there, and there was somebody else, Pickett or something. I think that's his name. But yeah, like Russell Wilson obviously will be a huge upgrade, and I think something that the Steelers could use. Speaking of the Steelers, they released Patrick Peterson. It's Patrick Peterson, right? I always say I don't know why I think his name is Patterson, but nonetheless, yeah. They released Patrick Peterson. Um, uh, Hunter Henry signed with the Patriots on a 3-year deal. We're just gonna kind of skim down some of this stuff. Um, Let's see. Oh yeah, the Chiefs got Tranquil. He stays with the Chiefs on a 3-year deal. It's pretty. That's. I feel like there's nothing really huge. I mean, the Cowboys have talked to the fact that they might not bring Tyron Smith back. And as much as I love the fact that he's still one of the best tackles in the league, I'm personally not super mad. I feel like he's been banged up so much the last 5-6 years. It's kind of been crazy. Um, our O line has been banged up a lot this past few years for sure. When we're all healthy, it's great. But Tyron, as much as I love him and I think he's a great player, the injuries are just a lot, man. And um, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with that. And I know they're also working with getting Dak's contract reworked, and I, I'm so I still don't know with Dak. The thing is who do we have? Who's left? Um, that's the thing. It's like, oh, we can replace him, but who the heck is there? Um, it's not like drafting one wouldn't probably be the best thing. If we're trying to win now, drafting one wouldn't be the best thing, even though I think the quarterback class is pretty solid this year coming into the draft. But obviously, we don't have a high pick. We made the playoffs, we won our division. But it's like, who else do we have? It's like, who's there? Would a Russell Wilson work for us? Maybe. But I don't think the Cowboys want to go that route. But changes need to be made. I'm as a Cowboy fan, I'm just sick of the crap. I'm sick of the crap. But nonetheless, that's pretty much most of the NFL news that I care about. There's been some other little signings here and there, off and on. But onto the NBA. Carl Anthony Towns, he tore his meniscus. He's gonna be out for like a month, which kind of sucks because Minnesota, man, they looking very championship contenders. I mean, they're first in the West. It's crazy to say that. I was looking at the standings the other day and you see Oklahoma City and Minnesota, literally the top two seeds. Denver's right there, like they're like a game behind of Minnesota. But it's crazy to see those two teams on top of the West there. But it's definitely like a changing of the guard, which is nice. To see Minnesota actually doing something. SGA from the Thunder, the boys balling. The boys balling. He's an MVP candidate. His name is Shy Gildress Alexander. I believe that's his name. People call him SGA for short. But the dude's been balling, and it wouldn't surprise me. Like, I think kind of Luca. I'm not Luca. I think, but Luca is insane. We know, but um, probably Jokic is. He's definitely set a path to probably win it again. Uh, but it wouldn't surprise me if he definitely gets some love. SGA definitely deserves some love. For some MVP votes, man. The dude's balling out of his mind. He's I think he's like what? He's like second in the league in scoring or first. It's like 30. I know he's averaging like 30. He's averaging like 30. I know. Um, oh, he's behind Luke. Yeah, he's behind Luca. He's second. Luca's averaging 34, which is fucking insane. That guy's nuts. He just had like his fourth straight, I believe, 35-point triple double. Some nuts stuff like that. Man, Luca's crazy. I just wish they would get something more obviously sustainable around Luca. Um, because like Dallas, they're as a team they're but Luca's top tier. Luca's top tier. We know Luca, man. Dude's a beast nonetheless. Um, but yeah, we've let's see. We got some. I know Curry left the game with an ankle injury yesterday. Um, but it's getting that time of year though, where basketball is kind of like stepping forward. Also baseball spring training has been happening in the last few weeks. Um, but it's definitely NBA. The NCAA tournaments are starting to come down to the wire. I mean, starting to conference championship tournaments are happening for both the men and the women. Literally happened as I'm talking right here. Got some Big 12 on the women's side happening right now. Sun Belt, all the different conferences. I enjoy this time of year. I've always enjoyed this time of year as far as like the NCAA tournament is concerned. Both UConns are usually men and women. They're usually both in it, so I usually have a team to cheer for. But it's always like these crazy games. You just never know what's gonna happen, and it's always a good time. This is a good time, man. But and also shout out to Caitlin Clark, who like I think believe since I did my last episode, she's broken the record. So shout out to Caitlin Clark. She's doing her thing, man. She's a baller. She's officially announced that she's gonna be jumping into the WNBA draft. Indiana has the first pick. They're probably gonna take her. There's about probably like a 99.9% chance that they're gonna take her. But it's nice to see. Like I said in the last episode that I love the fact that the women's side there's so much parity. Even though like South Carolina's they're kind of dominating, but it wouldn't be surprised to me to see them like maybe losing at some point. But I love what South Carolina does. I love Dawn Staley. She's one of my favorite basketball players of all time. I love how she plays. She's an amazing coach. But yeah, like it's I love this time of year because it's like games are on and it's like that excitement because everybody it's just one and done. It's one and done, man. It's a great time of year. If you love basketball, it's a really good time of year. And there's also like the NBA like playoffs are starting to come down to the wire. I mean, like the season started coming down to the wire, so it's like seedings and we're talking MVP and all this stuff. And it's a good time of year if you like basketball. And also baseball spring training is happening right now. So if anybody loves the baseballs, I love the baseballs. It's always been one of my favorite sports. Um, but yeah, it's crazy because it's like March. Daylight savings is this Sunday, so don't forget to put your clocks, I believe, forward. Clocks go forward. Yes, I always get it mixed up. I think yeah, it goes forward because it's been getting darker later, which is nice. I hate that when it gets darker like at like 4 o'clock. Like I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm definitely more of a it gets darker at like 8. Like usually around the summer, that's when it kind of does. But right now it's been getting dark around 5:36 here on the East Coast, and obviously probably after Sunday it's probably gonna be getting dark around like 6:37. So um nonetheless, I love this time of year. I love this time of year for basketball. So I'm gonna be trying to like watch everything as much as I can. Um, I've been so like wrapped up in like content creation, watching streams and stuff that I've kind of stepped back from sports like I used to be. Um, but I still love sports. It's the one thing that makes me the happiest. For sure, out of everything. But we're gonna take a little break. It's pretty much all the sports talk. That's up my alley. I know hockey's happening. I believe their season's coming down to the end too as well. But I don't really watch hockey much. I do want to go to a Devils game. I'm here in Newark. I'm literally 15 minutes away from their arena, so I would love to go to a hockey game. It's not like I don't have any respect for hockey, um, but I'm just not. I don't like sitting and watching it. That's just personal opinion. But uh, but yeah, we're gonna take a little break. And like I said, we're gonna talk about it's International Women's Day, so we're gonna talk about some women who've had an impact on my life from the past and present, people I look up to, and yeah, I'll be back. All right, it's International Women's Day. I think it's only right for me to talk about some women in my life who've made a huge impact. I mean, obviously, I think I have to start off with my mom. Uh, she she was I didn't deserve that woman. She was so caring and so loving. She took care of me like I was gonna say like she was my own, but I was her own. I was own. I was only. But yeah, like she went above and beyond for birthdays and holidays and just any day. Um she always I never had to struggle, and especially right now where I'm kind of like struggling like mentally and financially. Um, but with her, I never had to worry about if I was gonna eat what I was gonna eat that night or if I was gonna have a roof over my head or none of that stuff. I will say that about all the people that have taken care of me through the years. I've never had that issue. And it's kind of weird now with me kind of being like on my own for the most part and having to worry about all that. But it's a part of being an adult. It's part of life. But my mom, I was 9 years old when she passed, and I really wish she was still here. I think it would obviously a lot of things would have been different. Um, I would have definitely probably been more focused on like building some kind of career or having a better having a better life for sure. Because she was always a believer of I don't care what you do with your life as long as you're happy. If it makes you happy and you're not harming anybody, she would always tell me that as a kid. Um, and I remember like when I graduated high school, people were like, "Oh, your mother would have made you go to college." I said, "Nah, my mom would have let me would have been proud of whatever I did because that's how she was. She was always a hard worker. She did a lot of. I know she was like an office assistant. I actually remember going to uh like going with her to work when she couldn't, I didn't have a babysitter. There was a woman who used to babysit me around where we lived. And then there was times I came here to obviously be with my grandmother. So like when she passed, it was like I was already used to coming here, so it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst. Um it still sucked obviously because I knew I wasn't going to see my mom again. Um but nonetheless, like obviously I think if I talk about someone who's a woman who's had an impact on my life, my mother's obviously number one. And she'll always I have a picture of her in my room. So if you come by my streams, there's a picture of her right on the wall behind me. I feel like she's just like watching over me, and I do miss her. I miss her dearly. Might as well stay on the same kind of track. And my grandmother, who took me in after my mom passed away, and it was a lot of tough times. I could definitely tell that all the people passing away affected her, but she never let it show too much. There was a few times we had some kind of deep conversations, and I would ask her like how she's doing. You know how parents are. I'm fine, but it's yeah. I knew it definitely affected her because we lost a lot of people in like a like a 8 9 year span after my mom passed away. I lost a cousin, my mom's twin sister, and an uncle. Um, and they all were super close to her. The my cousin that passed away was her oldest grandchild, so he would come over here all the time and hang out with me. And I mean, hang out with her, obviously. But then when like I was here, we'd hang out, and uh, me and him loved playing. He loved playing uh, Pac Man on my Genesis. But we would hang out and stuff. He babysitted me a few times because I was only like 9 10 years old. Um, But yes, like my grandmother, like she didn't have to take me in. A little bit of a quick story. The last day my mom was alive, she was like the last family member that was with her, and um, my mom, her last words were, "Stephanie, take care of Stephanie," and she was worried about me as she's taking her last breath, and it's like, take care of Stephanie, no matter what you do, take care of Stephanie, and she did. It was rough, obviously being here. I'm still here, sharing a room with my grandmother as an 8 9 year old after having my own room for a couple years. It was tough, but we made it work. She made sure I went to school. She made sure I was, like I said, I didn't have to worry about what I was gonna eat or where I was gonna sleep or anything like that. She took care of me like I was her own, and I I can't I couldn't repay her enough for being uh basically my mom. She was another mom for me. Um, it was just sucked when she started getting sick after I graduated, and um, if anybody's been around someone with dementia, y'all know how tough it can get. I was here for a little bit by myself when she was like started getting sick, and then after a while, my uncle came here. But it's just sorry, it's just like I'm still here. It's a lot of the memories that of her like being really violent. As far as like I said, it was after when she started getting sick. Like before then, she never laid a hand on me. Um, she was never violent. Like she would yell at me for the typical parent stuff, like wash your dishes, clean your room, do your homework, like things like that. That was pretty much it. But other than that, like we were good. It was just when she started getting sick, you obviously saw a change, and it was really rough. And there's times I regret. Um, the last few years of life, she was like in and out of like hospices and stuff because it was a lot for me and my uncle to try to take care of her, and it would be really really hard for me to go visit her, and my family would be on me like, why are you ain't gonna come visit? I was like, it's like no one was here when she was at like the peak of her being sick, and that person wasn't the person that raised me. That person wasn't that person that loved me. She wasn't herself. And I remember like the last maybe year or two, and I was like, and I kind of felt it kind of coming close that she was gonna pass away because she like stopped eating and all that stuff. She was getting really really skinny, and I remember just kind of being ready mentally. I guess I don't know how to even explain that. Um, I guess I was ready. uh, but the thing is, I took hers the hardest. Even knowing that she was gonna pass away. Obviously, everyone else was a surprise. Everyone else was a surprise. Um, maybe not. I had an aunt who had cancer. That's cancer usually ends that way. Unfortunately, my uncle, obviously with his heart, he was definitely different after he got his surgery that last year, and obviously still shocked that it sucked, but it's not surprising, I guess. But she was the first one where it was like, I know she's probably not gonna be around too long. She was really skinny, like I said. Her mood was not. She wasn't herself. And I remember our last moments together. I was in this room again. Um, she was laying on the bed. She was pretty out of it, like just kind of laying there. And I don't know. I just felt like it was coming, and I like held her hand, and I just was like, "Thank you, thank you for being there for me and being my mother, being another mother to me." Um, and I remember just like it was just me and her. My uncle stepped out for a minute, and she, like I said, she was pretty out of it, but it was like I felt her squeeze my hand, and just for a second, I know she was there, and I know she hurt me, because I did appreciate her, and I still do. Even though, like I said, the last 5, 6 years of her life were really hard for definitely me and my uncle here, having to deal with everything. Um, but I know she hurt me. She definitely like I had my hand in hers and she kind of clutched my hand a little, and that was like the last time I had like a moment with her. Um, she went to the hospital the next like few days, within the next few days, and then she ended up passing away that Saturday. Um, and I remember my cousin called and told me, and I remember I was sitting here playing Call of Duty. I'll never forget. I was playing with some friends, and I was being really, really mean to my friends that day, which I felt bad for. Um, and I apologized to them afterwards. I kind of told them because it was in the middle of us playing, and I got a call from my cousin. He's like, "Grandma, she passed." Like, I was like, "Okay." I was like, I kind of felt it. It was weird, but I remember like get off my phone and telling my friends. I was like, "Yeah, my grandmother like officially passed away," and they were like, still being apologetic, sorry for your loss. And I was like, I'm sorry to y'all for. I feel like I felt it coming that day, and I think that's why I was very like aggro towards my friends, and I apologized to them. I was like, y'all, I'm sorry for being so extra, and they noticed. And they was like, that's why were you because you knew your grandma was in the hospital and stuff. And she's like, I was like, yeah. I was like, she had been in a hospital. She had been, they knew my grandmother. They'd hear her in the background and stuff. Um, but I apologize to them for being so dramatic, I guess, that day. um, but yeah, she's definitely one of the more impactful women in my life for sure. And regardless of us still being here all this time, she like I guess like I said, gave me a home. She treated me like her own, and there was no even the last 5, 6 years were really really rough for me, my uncle, her, of course. Um, I'll always love her. I'll always love her. But yeah, that's my grandmother. Next, I want to go to is my mom's twin sister. My aunt Regina. We called her Gigi. She she was like my mom, but she didn't give a fuck. She was gonna let her opinion be known, and I love my aunt for that. Like I would always go to her house. My cousins would be there, and I'd go over there, stay over the weekend. It was the one of the only few places that I would actually go and like spend the night at. Um, so and she was after my mom passed. She was definitely a voice of reason for me, somebody to talk to. I wasn't much of a phone talker, and our last interaction was very interesting. We were on the phone the night before for hours. I'm not much of a phone talker, um, but we were on the phone for hours, and it was interesting. We talked about different things. I was talking about school, she was talking about things. And I remember coming home from school the next day, and my grandmother, like, I came in here just a normal, after school stuff. I come in here, put my, um, put my stuff away. And I was like, literally, like, I remember just turning on my PlayStation. And my grandmother just busted in here and like, Regina passed. She died. And I said, and she just left out of the room. And I said, what? I was like, I went in the living room. I said, what? I was like, I was just talking to her yesterday. Literally last night. We stayed on the phone for hours. No way. She ended up having her second heart attack. She had 3 kids she adopted, and she was going to pick them up from school. And she ended up having a heart attack at the school. And that one stung because it was like 3 years after my cousin passed, my oldest cousin, It was my freshman year in high school, and that one hit hard, for sure. Um, but my aunt, she was, she was her. Like her and my mom were very similar, but in ways she was a little more savage, and I loved her for it. And she definitely always will have a. I'll never forget all the memories, Thanksgivings and stuff, and holidays and birthdays. She always included me. I always felt like one of her own for sure. Um, so that's her. My last aunt that was on this side of my mom's side, my aunt Diane, who she she had a journey through her life. She had a lot of mental health issues. Her and her kids were kind of moving place to place on a regular. But I would always remember she would come over here, especially after my mom passed away, and even after my first aunt passed away. And I remember she would come like for my birthdays or just any day, Friday or something, and we just be hanging out. I would make her some CDs, burn her some CDs. My birthday, she would come over here with a bunch of snacks, little cakes and stuff. Just we just be hanging, man. She was her. She was a little different, but she I could tell she cared about me, and I you know I loved her so much. And when I remember when she like first got a cancer diagnosis, and then she stopped coming over here as much, and I was like, it you could definitely feel the shift of like her, um, that she was definitely getting more and more sick. I remember the last time we talked, I went to her house one day. I was with my cousin, her daughter, and I went over there and talked to her, and she seemed okay. Um, but she was just we were just kind of reminiscing and going over things, talking about some things of the past. And she gave me a hug and stuff, and that was the last time I saw her. And I think maybe like a few days after we heard about our passing, um, that one hurt. That one stung. I remember going to her funeral and everything, and it was rough. It was rough. She was the last woman figure as far as like my blood on this side. And she I said both of my aunts, my mom and my grandmother, they all four of them showed nothing but love and care for me, and treated me like you know like I was their own. And I appreciate both all four of them so much. um they all were like my mother in one in some way, all four of them. And they all, like, my two aunts had other kids, but like I said, I've always felt like I was a part of their you know their group. But yeah, I think I'm gonna take a break because I kind of need one right now. But I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna do a whole no segment for people, like women that are in my life right now, who make a strong impact on me. And but yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back. Now it's time to talk about some women that I have made an impact on my life right now, like my friends, people who I consider family, even. Um, Most of the women I'm probably gonna mention are people I met through streaming for the past 4 to 5 years, who have impacted my life in a positive way, and have always shown their loyalty and continue to show their loyalty, and people who I love dearly. I think I gotta start off with my home skillet biscuit from Georgia, Miss Robot Giggles, or Sarah. She's me and her friendship is so interesting because we're completely opposites. I remember meeting her. It was when Apex first started. She did her Wraith cosplay when, like, the peak of Apex. Like, that was first few months. I met her that way. My friend Bob, who knew her as well, or Dad Guy Game, if people remember him, the wonderful Bob. I remember he rated her, and he was talking about her one day and talking about how her cosplay was great. And I remember seeing it on Twitter. I was like, yeah, that's her. I was like, yo, she's super cool. Like, and then I didn't go in her stream much for months because I remember seeing her the first time I saw her. I'm like, first of all, I was like, oh my god, she's a blonde. That threw me off because the skin obviously had black hair. She did the quarantine skin, and I was like, okay, she's a blonde and she's pretty. So it was like it threw me off a little. Um, and I remember she was just kind of, I believe it was right after it was PAX that she had went to, where she like showed off obviously the cosplay for the first time, and um, she was kind of just chilling. She had what they called the people call con crud, where you kind of get sick after a con. Obviously, being around a lot of people, it's kind of normal for that to happen. Um, but I remember she was just chilling. They were watching something on like YouTube or something. Um, and I remember kind of like not really going in there much. I was a mod at the time for like my friend Bob and everything, so I would be spending a lot of my time in there. Um, and then at one day, I remember I wasn't feeling the best. I wasn't in Bob's stream. I just wasn't feeling it that day, and I was in another friend's stream or former friend's stream, and she rated gigs. Um, and I was like, everybody around me kind of talks about her. I was like, it's got to be something more to this woman that I'm missing. Like she's more than just like a pretty face. And I remember like being in her stream and finding out more about her the weeks after, and I was like, man, she's super cool. Like she's cool as hell. She was so welcoming to everybody. I remember at the time she was working on another cosplay. She did another Wraith cosplay. If anybody knows I can't remember. I don't know the name, but it was the one with like the burgundy armor. And I remember she was working on that, and she was talking about it all the time. I was so intrigued. And her music tastes, me and her music tastes are really similar, which is really odd. We're born the same year, 1989. Um, but yeah, like I remember being in her streams all the time, and we got really close. I became one of her mods in like a couple months because she was like, "You're always around. You're always, around the people like you, whatever." It's like, and you've had my back through like through some things. Like me and her got stories, bro. Like through the years, it's been crazy that it's been like that was 2019, I believe. Like around summer of 2019 is when I started coming around her a little bit more. Um, but yeah, man, I remember my first birthday. Even I remember her birthday. That was when me and her. That's when I became her mod. That October 5th is her birthday, and I remember us being on. She was streaming, and it was like 3, 4 in the morning. And she would usually just have me in Discord calls because of my laugh, which was kind of funny. Like she would literally just have me there for that. Obviously I play, I played Apex. I play Apex still. Um, but she would literally have me in calls just for my laugh. And I remember her sitting around. None of her mods were around, so it was like 3, 4 in the morning, which is respectable. She stayed on way later than she usually does, and she was like, "Hey, Steph, I got a question." And I said, "What's up?" She's like, "Would you want to be a mod for me?" I said, "Sure." And she's like, "Just like that?" I said, "Yeah, just like that." Because a couple of people she knew and trusted, I was a mod for them as well, including obviously including my friend Bob. Um, and she said she said she was kind of looking for mods, and her and mods at the time kind of talked about me, and would talk about me for mod because it was like I'm around all the time and I mod for other people and all that stuff. And she kind of asked around about you, girl, and I felt a little like I felt a little prideful. I was like, okay, I got you, home skillet biscuit. That we call each other homie. That's my dog. I remember my first birthday. I was around her. She came and showed up and came into my stream, and I forgot what she gave me. She gave me something for paladins, if I remember correctly, because I was really into paladins at the time. I think it was like a skin or something. Um, but yeah, like the years have went on. I remember when Mixer shut down the year after. Um, she moved over to Twitch, And then as the months went on, there was some stuff going on between the mods and her and us. Like it was evident that I was the only one kind of showing up. And it hurt her. I can tell. Um, she was like, she would always ask, "What did I do wrong? Did I do something wrong?" And I honestly didn't know because I would. There was times when I felt like I felt different from all the rest of the mods because I never really hung out with them like that. I felt like they were really all of them were more tighter than I was with them. So I was just kind of always I was always there for gigs. Always. I would always be there doing all the mod stuff. Um but nonetheless, she kind of stopped streaming for a while cuz she was taking care of her dad who had Alzheimer's and stuff. He had had it for years, so she kind of stopped really stopped streaming because of that. Um so I remember when she kind of had her last stream. It really hurt. It really hurt to see her go because I always enjoyed being in her streams. I always enjoyed just being around her. Um, we like I said we've got stories. One time I had a there was like these people going around like being really racist in people's chats. Somebody came in my chat and straight up just said, don't watch this N-word stream. Come to my stream, spamming it in my chat. Um, and I remember I told her, and she was like, "Oh no, this ain't gonna fly." And she literally went on Twitter defending me, saying, if I ever see you at a con, I'm gonna grab you by the shoulders and knee you in the balls." Maybe like a month later, she had a kind of like a tweet go viral, and I'm guessing they got their whole community to mass spam her, and she got her Twitter account. Um, she got her Twitter account suspended. She's back on Twitter, but she's on a new account. But like she definitely always showed her loyalty, even still to this day. I went down there to Georgia a few years ago. Had a great time. It was during her birthday. Had a blast. It was my first time on a plane. Meeting her for the first time was really fun. She's one of the coolest people that you'll ever meet, and one of the coolest people that you could ever be around. She was very accepting of me, through the years, and she's officially a mom now, which is kind of crazy to say. She's had her first child, little Walker. I can't wait to go and meet him one day. Um, but yeah, like when I went down there, she treated me like family. I was able to even stay at her house. Um, her husband's he's a good guy, great guy. And I was like, y'all gonna be great parents. She was nervous and worried about it, and obviously you're supposed to be nervous, your first kid, and but she's doing well, and it's nice to see that she's thriving, and she's still one of my favorite people in the world, and she'll probably always be. We at least text each other every few weeks at worst. We usually don't let a month go by without at least talking to each other, for sure. But yeah, I spend a lot of time talking about her. It's like 10 minutes. Nah, I love her so much. Also, I have to. We're gonna move on to Bossy. People who know I love Bossy. She's a Jersey girl. I remember first meeting her. Actually, Gigs was the one who rated her, and that's how I met her. Heard that accent, I'm like, yeah, she's Jersey through and through. um, we've gotten closer the last like couple years, me and Bossy for sure. She's that woman's been there for me through so much. She's wild, she's bossy, but she's got a huge heart, and I I couldn't ask for a better friend. Um, we've gotten a chance to hang out in person twice, which has been nice. Um, she's a blast to be around. If you know Bossy and if you've ever been in her streams and you think that's crazy, her in person is a whole nother level. She's an amazing person with a big heart. She's been getting into Apex and stuff in the last couple years, and so we've been able to like actually like play together because she was more of a COD girl, and I would play COD here and there. I wasn't huge on Warzone at least the last couple years, but she stopped playing Warzone really, and she plays COD. I mean, plays Apex and stuff. So it's been nice to to get to play some Apex and play games with her all the time. She's super fun. I actually have a clip on my TikTok of her kind of roasting Connecticut. If you guys follow my TikTok and go on there, it's probably one of my favorite clips on there. But Bossy, she knows that's my sister. That's my homie. Like, I I fuck somebody up for her and a lot of people. But yeah, Bossy's my home girl. Next I gotta go to Ash. Me and Ash have known each other for almost 2 years now, which is kind of nuts, man. It'll be 2 years this April, actually. Um, I remember kind of stumbling onto Ash when I was having kind of a fallout with a friend, and I remember kind of her. I remember kind of like coming in her stream. Her name was Gamer Mama at the time. I know she'll probably hate me if she's listening to this. She'll probably hate that I say this. I always mess with her about it, but um, her name was Gamer Mama at the time, and I remember coming to her chat. She was heavy into the Apex. Um, and my name's Big Mama Steph. So like she's like, oh my god, it's another mother, and I was like, I get that a lot, by the way. She's like another mother, and I was like, nah, I ain't got no kids. It's just a nickname. She does have three beautiful children, and everything, but I remember she was asking me how you play Apex. I was like, yeah. I do this thing where I try to get 100 kills on every character. And I pretty much still have that going. By the way, I think Conduit's the only one because I just haven't gotten into Conduit yet. But nonetheless, like I remember coming around and hanging around, and I don't know. I just enjoyed being there with her, and she was always so sweet, so caring. Then there was she would first of all ask me to be one of her mods, and I would tell her that I would love to be because I was telling her about like obviously I bought it for Bob and Gigs and some other peeps, and she was like, would you want to be my mod? And I was like, listen, I was like, and I have been around like streaming and stuff, and I would like, she's like, why would you like? We got to a personal conversation, and she was just like, why do you don't want to be one of my mods? She's like, do you not like me? I said, no. Listen to me. You have too many. And I think that's something that a lot of streamers don't like realize. Having too many mods can be very intimidating on people that's just coming to a chat. And I remember like kind of hanging around and seeing that the mods that she had weren't really doing much. And I would tell her that in some personal convos. When I finally did accept mod, maybe like within the week, all those mods that were there, pretty much like 90% of them just up and left. And she was distraught because she's like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And she was talking about quitting. And I said, listen, I was like, if you're not going to do this, don't not do this because of them. They're gone. And I know you got close, but they're not here. They don't matter anymore. And I was like, if you're gonna quit for yourself. Don't quit for them. You have a gift for this. You have a passion for this. And to this day, she still does. And I was like, I see you being big in this whole content creation space. She didn't believe me. She didn't, she's like, you're full of it, and stuff. And I was like, please don't quit for them. That's what you can't do, is quit for them. If you're not gonna do well, if you're not gonna do streaming or content creation in general, do it because you don't want to do it. And I remember she had a rough patch. She definitely took a big break. Now I remember kind of being around her damn near every day for like a month or two, and she was me and a couple others. We were trying to piece her back together, man. And she's still here, and she's thriving. We joke about her being famous and stuff, but she's thriving, and I respect her so much on the content creation space. It's nuts because she's a mom of three. She's married to her husband Randy, and she's she's a good person. She's changed her name. She's now it is Ashlyn, and um, she's changed up her content since I started following her. She was like more of an Apex player, um, played other games here and there, but now she's does more cozy games like Disney Dreamlight, things like that. And she made a big change, and it's showing. People are coming around. We're getting the communities. It's a great community to be in. We've had our ups and downs in the community, but we she keeps rising up, and I have so much respect for her. I'm hoping one day that I get to meet her. Hopefully soon. I've been trying to. I've been wanting to put up like I put up like a dono goal for to go meet her in Florida this May. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I'm definitely gonna try to make it happen. Hopefully at some point in this year, 100%. Um, but yeah, like I said, it'll be 2 years since we've known each other this April, and she's one of my best friends. She's one of the people I keep close to me. Last year when I was in the hospital. I checked myself in. She wasn't sure how I was doing. She sent a wellness check to my house, and she's from a whole nother state. And I got people who or my family or just like people who know me and won't see me for months and won't give two shits to even give me a call. And for that woman to do that from a whole nother state is something that I I love, and I love her for that. And I tell her that all the time. Like no one's cared about me like that, and I appreciate you. I do appreciate her, and um, she's gonna be fine. And I tell her that all the time, and she's gonna be good. Um, I kind of want to go down a line of some like streamers who are like like a big strong influence on me. Definitely Invicta. Invicta's another mom. It's always doing her thing. Plays mostly COD and Fortnite. She's a great person, great community to be around. Chieftain Cool, who I love Chief to death. She plays COD and she slays all the time. It's great to watch. Um, I'm trying to think of somebody else. Toodles. Toodles is probably one of my. She's an Aussie streamer. But she's awesome. She's always like the vibes are good. And she went through a rough patch recently, but she's persevered as well, and it's good to see her keep going and all that stuff. BZB, who's on Kick, she's been one of my favorite people that I've gotten to know. She's way back from Mixer. One of the coolest people I know. I love BZB so much. Nova Court, who's also on Mixer. Mixer. She was from Mixer, but she's on Kick. So go check her out on Kick. Nova Court's great. She's just had her first child as well. So shout out to her. She's always been positive vibes. Every time I've played with her, she's always been good people to be around. And she's one of those people who's like good at like every FPS game, which is kind of nuts. I've watched that woman play COD, Valorant, Apex, and she slays at it all. I love Nova Court. Let me see. I feel like I'm missing so many people like Finabane, who hasn't been streaming as much, but she's always been one of those really good FPS players. But she's like the sweetest person in the world. But just shoot your eyes out in game. In game. She has a beautiful set of twins as well. But shout out to Vena. I feel like I'm missing so many people, and I feel terrible. I feel terrible over anybody I missed. Miss Phoenix has always been another person that I've enjoyed. She just had a little one as well. Man, Pirates is another person who plays a lot of COD, and she's really good, and I enjoy her. I enjoy being around her. She's got really positive vibes as well. She's a mom, so she's always like being really motherly to everybody, and it shows. It shows. I will talk about a couple people that are not streamers who I talk to a lot. Tabby. Tabby's one of my best friends. I remember her first coming around, and she was really kind of quiet. And now she's always on me for making content and all that stuff. Taking care of myself. She's one of the people that I definitely want in my life. For a long time. I enjoy being around. She's fun. She's fun. She's a good person. She's a really good person, and she's been through a lot. and she's still going. She's still going. She's been through a lot. Um, but yeah, I got some other people out there. Irk, who's she's a mom as well. She does like she was one of the people that invited me to the Wounded Warrior project team that we do every November. She's definitely an influence, a good influence. She's always been really nice, always checking on me. Um, I appreciate her. I appreciate her so much, so much. Also, I got to talk about the 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 third to me and Bossy's team, Corey. Corey, she's great. She's great. She's good people. I've gotten to know her a little bit the last like year, and it's been nice. Corey's good people's. I gotta talk about some of my I've got about I can't forget about Pixie, who I've known for years. She's the one mod that is held over since Mixer. She's got 4 kids. Um, she's an awesome person. I love Pixie. Amia, who's another one of my mods who's um been a part of a lot. And I remember when she first came around, and she was just like um always helpful. She was so helpful. And I asked her one day, I was like, "Would you want to be my mod?" And she said, "I'm honored." Made her a VIP, and she turned into a mod not too far after. So shout out to Mia. Shout out to Mia. A lot of my cool friends I've gotten to know along the way. Cambry, Dottie, Bitchosaurus, Sweetson, all you guys. Um, I love y'all, man. It's I got a lot of women, like I said, that I probably didn't mention, but y'all know who y'all are. Y'all know who. But those are like the core. Those are the most important. I won't say most important. I don't want to make it sound like I'm just being an ass. But yeah, those are the people that like off the top of my head who I definitely look up to as friends, as parents, as content creators, as just cool as women, man. And but yeah, I think we're gonna end it there. I'm rambling, man. um, but yeah, happy International Women's Day to all the women out there. Um, I love you guys. And you guys make such an impact on my life. Um, that I can't express that enough. But yeah, follow me on the socials. Big Mama Stuff everywhere. TikTok is Big Mama Stuff underscore. Go to the TikToks and the YouTube. The YouTube is where I'm definitely trying to keep up the uploading. I'm almost done with the Detroit Become Human playthrough. I'm probably gonna be working on like putting some kind of stream clips together and stuff. I do want to do like a funny moments like clip montage of the year so far because there's been some funny clips that's happened on stream from my birthday to a little before my birthday to like this last month. It's been fun. It's been fun. So we're gonna be working on that. We're working on doing stuff for the YouTube. So go follow me there. I'm on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Instagram, Big Mama Stuff is there as well. Don't forget to come by the Twitch streams. We be chilling. We just be vibing. I be having the music on. We just be chilling, and it's be a good time. Like usually I play Overwatch and Apex. I want to kind of play some more COD. Fortnite's new season started today, so I'm probably gonna be doing a lot of that recently. I mean soon and stuff. I've been playing Disney Dreamlight. Detroit Become Human. I do want to do another playthrough of that soon. Probably the Quarry as well. I did decent with the Quarry. I only killed like 1 or 2 people. I did pretty decent. Um, but yeah, man. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And if you're here, thank you for listening. But follow me on Spotify. These also upload to YouTube as well. So go check it out over there. But you know how we do. Love your faces. Stay beautiful. I'll see you in the next one. Remember to drink your water, check on a homie, and remember you're loved. Peace.